Yeah, sure. So entrepreneurship to me comes down to a couple key themes. First of all, nobody's coming to your rescue. Okay. When you sign up to be an entrepreneur, you bet on yourself. It also means that you cut off all of the backup options, the backup plans, and you're willing to completely bet on yourself. Realize that nobody's coming to your rescue in exchange for personal freedom. To me, it's not about the money. It's not about money. It's not about cars. It's not about how many millions, tens of millions of dollars I'm worth. Who cares? What it means is that I can leave work early at 3:30 so I can take my kids to volleyball at 4 and coach volleyball when nobody else, none of the other parents could be there. I could be the dad that can coach volleyball early. When my kids were younger and they needed a dad to do recess duty, that I could do the recess duty at like from 10:30 until 1 o'clock when none of the other dads were there. When there were times when my kids were younger, again, you could volunteer at the school. They had this thing called centers where they had like different little craft stations every Friday. I was always one of the only dads that was there. That to me it's the exchange of I'm going to bet on myself, realize that nobody's coming to my rescue, realize that I'm 100% responsible and accountable to my own life now. These are all the lessons I learned from my dad. It's the lessons I learned from surgery that ultimately said, I'd rather do that and fail, but still have the personal freedom of time, freedom of relationships, and ultimately now freedom of money. That was what entrepreneurship was about. So if you're fighting for that personal freedom, you're an entrepreneur. That's the definition. That's what you're trying to do. And there's so many lessons that I learned along the way. Like there's so many things that you have to do as an entrepreneur to be successful. And like one of them is that, and I tell so many people this, like the business of business is people, right? If your business isn't growing, you got the wrong people. If your business isn't as big as you want, you need different people. Because the people, you might need money, but the people will help you find the money, right? The money doesn't find the people. The people find the money if you're short of cash. So everything is about people. And so we're in a constant battle now. It's warfare to find and recruit and partner and joint venture with the best people. I've had amazing partnerships that have worked out really well because they were great people. I've had partnerships that I thought were going to go really well that didn't, because that operator or that boots on the ground sponsor didn't fulfill their job. They were the wrong people, right?
Exactly.
Those lessons now, it's not like I'm 100% responsible for my own life. Nobody is coming to my rescue. But if I want to grow any kind of substantial business, it's about people. It's about bringing in, whether it's JVs, whether it's employees, staff, whatever it is, I've got to seek out the best people. I'll give you another example, Brett. Just 4 months ago, we bought 450 units of apartments. We bought those. We had 100 vacancies that we inherited when we bought those, 100. And for about 2 months, we were struggling to find and bring on and hire contractors. We just fought and scratched and clawed to interview every contractor we could, big, small, commercial, residential, didn't care. I was going to go find contractors to help us turn these apartment units. At the end of the day, finally interviewed and hired the right guy. He goes by Moose. His company is Art Development, but he goes by Moose. General contractor. And Brett, I swear to God, in the last 60 to 90 days, we have turned 75 full hard turns. You're talking about $8,000 to $9,000 a unit. We've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars because we found the one right person.
Wow.
Right? It's about business. It's about people. It's about finding and locating and working with those people. That to me is so big. That's another lesson I've learned along the way of being a great entrepreneur is, look, I'm not the smartest guy in the room. I don't want to be the smartest guy in the room. I don't know shit about construction. But if I find the right guy to do that job, that's going to allow me to ultimately get to my goal, whatever that is.
No, I love that. It's a people business. I think every business is a people business. And obviously, you've learned a lot of these lessons through the challenges of your life, and you've talked about your dad a lot. I know that your dad had passed, right? And he was your first entrepreneurship mentor. And just talk to us about that. So your dad, he said he taught you a lot. He taught you what to do and maybe some things that you didn't want to do either. Maybe some other lessons. But what was it like? You went through this cancer, your own mortality. You're losing your dad the last year, and how's that changed you a little bit, or how have you reflected upon that and the lessons that he taught you?
Yeah, absolutely. Look, I think it's so many ways my dad did it right. Um, he was always there. I remember being in college and I played college football, right? So on Saturdays when you played varsity, everybody was there. There were thousands, tens of thousands of people that would come to our games.
Mm-hmm.
But when you played JV as a freshman, believe it or not, many people don't know this, there's a JV program for college football that nobody goes to.
I didn't even know there was.
Yeah. I had a game as a freshman right out in Pennsylvania, and there was very few people there. We played on this terrible grass field. We were the freshmen, like nobody cared about us. And it was raining, pouring. Dad was there. The game was on a Monday at 3:30 in the afternoon in Pennsylvania. So he drove 2.5 hours on a Monday when most other parents, dads were locked up in their corporate jobs and could not get away. And they all missed the game. There were probably 80 kids on my freshman team. 75 of them had nobody there. And my dad was one of them, right? And so, when I looked back at that lesson, I wanted to create a life and a business that would allow me to have that same personal freedom. And sure, my dad might have gone back to work. He might have worked late that night. He might have worked till midnight, 2 o'clock to make up for it, but he had the personal freedom to just pick up and leave. That was one of the great lessons. The other thing I think that Dad always said was my dad was in an employee benefits business where everyone was fighting over price. And Dad told me, he's like, just listen, Josh, service always trumps price. If you want to charge more, your service has to be impeccable. So now as somebody that raises and recruits a lot of private money, we manage about $80 million of private money. We got about 40 million of it deployed right now. And people could go lots of places to get a better return than they can get with me. But because I answer the phone when they call, because I call people back, because I send people gifts out of the blue, because we create amazing quarterly reports with pictures and video and all kinds of feedback on what's going on at the properties, the good, the bad, and the ugly, service trumps price. And so people come back to me over and over to invest. I got guys that started investing with us 50 grand, 100 grand, that now have $1.5 million with us, right? Why? Service trumps price. People can go a lot of places to get return on investment, crypto, cannabis, real estate, e-commerce business, you name it. You could go a million places. People are investing with you. People are investing in you, right? Another lesson, again, I think that my dad taught me, didn't even know he was teaching me, was that my dad's business was valued off of cash flow, right? And then my partner, Glenn, in our business now, he brought this up many times. He said, look, when you're on Wall Street and you're looking at how companies are valued, they're valued based off of a multiple of income, but that income is the multiple is even higher if the income is booked based on a continuity, right? So many people are just into the big hit, the next wholesale deal. I'm going to wholesale this apartment building and make 300 grand. Actually, what you should have done is bought the apartment building and made $10,000 a month for the next 10 years. Wow. That's more valuable than the $300,000 up front. And so Glenn said, look, let's only invest in things that produce cash flow. Let's only invest in things that will produce long-term value, whether it's selling products that people pay for on a monthly basis, or mastermind groups that people pay for on a monthly basis to be a member, or whether it's investing and buying apartments and rental properties that people pay to live in on a monthly basis. All of those different businesses, e-commerce businesses where people are on a subscription model that people pay for. Why do you think every e-commerce business offers you the discount if you subscribe monthly? Because it's worth, their company is worth more. If you as a customer subscribe, and let's say it's $25 a month, that's worth more to a buyer, to a private equity company that might come in and buy that e-commerce business. It's worth more. My dad's business was based off of monthly premiums. His clients paid monthly for their benefits, and my dad's company was worth multiple X. And so when I was flipping properties at the beginning, it was all about the hit, the big hit right now. But then guess what I had to do? Next month, I had to go do it again, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Cancer and meeting my partner, Glenn, and I've known him forever, but we finally reconnected in 2014. And my dad's lessons of invest for cash flow, like that all I finally put that together. Even though I learned it from freaking Rich Dad, Poor Dad when I was 20 years old, I finally started doing that about 7 years ago. And my balance sheet, our income has skyrocketed, really, especially the last 3 or 4 years. And so invest for cash flow now, invest and find the absolute best people, take 100% responsibility for your life.
Thank you so much for checking out the Brett Snodgrass channel. If you like this video, please slam on that like button. And if you really like it, then subscribe to our channel here. And remember to leave us a comment below, and I'm going to try my hardest to reply to all the comments. Thank you guys so much. This is why I do what I do. Every single week, I come out with content that focuses on success, freedom, and living out your purpose. Thank you guys so much. See you next time.